Before I do start this video, make sure to use my TCG player affiliate down below if you're looking for any of these singles that I talk about today. Also, this channel is sponsored by Arcane Fortress. If you're looking for the best deck boxes around, make sure to use my link down below in the description to check them out. One other way you can support the channel is by becoming a patron. There are some great benefits of being a patron to the channel, such as giveaways, deck advice, and more when you do join. For today's patron shoutout, I'd like to thank Jank for being a supporter of the channel by being a patron. Hey, what's going on YouTube? This is Devin coming back at you with another video today on Pub Stomp MTG, and in this video I'm focusing on Slime Against Humanity. I have been seeing a lot of chatter around this card, ways to build around it, and honestly it's kind of endless because you can have any number in your deck named Slime Against Humanity. So there's a lot of ways to build around this card. I have about 23 to 24 Slime Against Humanities in this specific deck tech, and I feel like it's a decent number to start off with. But I do want to first read what it does before diving into the deck tech. Slime Against Humanity does read for 2 and a green. You create a 0/0 green ooze creature token with trample. Put X +1/+1 counters on it, where X is 2 plus the total number of cards you own in exile or in your graveyard that are named oozes or named Slime Against Humanity. Also, a deck can have any number of cards named Slime Against Humanity. There are an enormous amount of commanders that could take advantage of Slime Against Humanity. Commanders like Krark can double the ability of Slime Against Humanity, or if you really want to take advantage of the amount of counters you're putting on those creatures, Shalai and Halar may deal a lot of damage to everybody. However, those didn't sit right with me because I feel like if you're making a lot of oozes and they're getting bigger each time, why not take advantage of fling effects? And luckily, we do have a fling commander called Zeatora the Incinerator. So Zeatora is pretty special to me because it's one of the first deck techs that I put on the channel, and I feel like Zeatora is absolutely perfect as a Slime Against Humanity commander. So first, let's read what she does. So she is in Jund colors, so we do have black, red, and green in our arsenal. She does have flying, and at the beginning of your end step, you may sacrifice another creature. When you do, Zeatora the Incinerator deals damage equal to that creature's power to any target, and you create 3 treasure tokens. So there are a couple things I do like about the synergy with Slime Against Humanity. So if you notice Slime Against Humanity's cost, it is 3 mana, and look how much treasure Zeatora makes when she flings something. Yeah, that's right, 3 treasure, that's perfect. This is just a constant way we could get treasure tokens on the battlefield while dealing damage to our opponents so that we could cast more Slime Against Humanities to make them bigger and bigger with all the Slime Against Humanity cards in our graveyard. So now that we have the commander of the deck, let's talk about cards in the 99. So first of all, I do want to talk about synergy in the deck because we have a lot of Slime Against Humanity cards in the deck. We could take advantage of Locket of Yesterdays. And the main reason why I do have this in the deck is pretty simple. Spells you play cost 1 less to play for each spell with the same name as spells in your graveyard, all for just 1 mana. So this, as a low mana investment, can make all your Slime Against Humanity cards just cost 1 green. Another card I do want to highlight is Spellweaver Helix. This is perfect in the deck because it does have the imprint ability. When it does come into play, you may remove 2 target sorcery cards in a single graveyard from the game, so our own graveyard will probably have a couple Slime Against Humanity cards in our graveyard, so most likely we can get that imprint ability online. Also, it does have that other ability whenever a card is played. If it has the same name as one of the imprinted sorcery cards, you may copy the other and play the copy without paying its mana cost. So yeah, this is really great. Just getting those extra copies of Slime Against Humanity casted will get us some extra advantage. Another card that synergizes with a lot of cards with the same name is Thrumming Stone. So for 5 mana, it has spells you cast have Ripple for, so basically Ripple does read whenever you cast a spell, you may reveal the top 4 cards of your library. You may cast spells with the same name as that spell from among the revealed cards without paying their mana costs, then put the rest on the bottom of your library. So easily, this is a great card in the library. Say for example, we cast one of those Slime Against Humanities and we Ripple 4. We do have a 25-ish% chance to make more versions of Slime Against Humanity, but if we do want to make our oozes extra big on the graveyard, we could use cards like Lost Legacy and Surgical Extraction. So these are perfect in the deck because Slime Against Humanity has that ability of either in the graveyard or in exile, you can make a slime token with X amount of counters. So what we can do, for example, with Lost Legacy, it does have that ability, name a non-artifact, non-land card, search target player's graveyard, hand, or library for any number of cards with that name, and exile them. That player shuffles his or her library, then draws a card for each card exiled from his hand this way. So with this card, and also with Surgical Extraction, section, we can basically search for any number of cards. We don't have to pick all of them. So we can't pick a certain amount of them. Say for example, we pick like 15 of them. We still have a good number in our library. So when we do cast our next Slime Against Humanity, instead of it being a little creature, it'll be a big creature with a lot of 1/1 counters on it. So because we are casting a lot of Slime Against Humanity cards, why not copy those spells? So for example, Double Vision is excellent in the deck. It's a good static way of copying those spells. Whenever you cast your first instant or sorcery spell each turn, copy that spell. You may choose new targets for the copy. So cards like this, and also cards like Chandra's Hope's Beacon, are going to provide great ways where we could just copy those oozes so that we could put a lot more on the battlefield. So I mainly like Chandra for her static ability of copying spells, but also it does provide great utility for its +2 ability, add 2 mana of any combination of colors. We could use that +1 ability to also exile the top 5 cards of our library, and if they are Slime Against Humanity cards, that's fine because of course it counts cards in our exile too. Following that, I do also want to mention Wart the Raid Mother. I feel like this could be great utility in the deck, copying a lot of Slime Against Humanity sorcery spells that we do cast, mainly because of that ability. Each red or green instant or sorcery spell you cast has Conspire, so we can keep on using all our creatures we do have on the battlefield to tap them so that we can copy more spells so that we can make more oozes on the battlefield. However, if we do want to unleash a giant ooze army, we could take advantage of Mizzix's Mastery, especially with that overload ability. Exile target card that's an instant or sorcery card from your graveyard. For each card exiled this way, copy it and you may cast the copy without paying its mana cost. With Mizzix's Mastery overload cost, what's really nice about that is the fact that all those cards that are Slime Against Humanities will go into exile, and those will still count towards the amount of Slime Against Humanities we will cast and make an exponential huge ooze army. With that said, what do we want to do with our giant ooze army? Do we want to swing with them or do we want to fling with them? For example, I did want to mention a card that's very similar to some other effects that we do have with our commander, like Kazul's Fury. So this is just the kind of example of what kind of cards you want to be adding into the deck. Kazul's Fury acts as a land on the backside if you need the mana, but you could use this as an extra fling effect if you don't have your commander on the battlefield. You could sacrifice a Slime Against Humanity and deal damage equal to the sacrificed creature's power to any target. The same can be said for Minsc and Boo Timeless Heroes. This is perfect in the deck. You are making a Boo token on the battlefield, but that's not really why we are here. You could also put 3/1/1 counters on up to one target creature with trample or haste for that +1 ability, so most likely it's going to be that Boo creature. However, we're really here for that -2 ability. You sacrifice the creature. When you do Minsc and Boo Timeless Heroes, deal X damage to any target where X is that creature's power. If the creature was a hamster, you draw X cards too. So this is really meant to sacrifice Boo, but if we do have a huge ooze on the battlefield, we could just fling it away so that we could possibly go for victory there. I also do want to use Enter the Battlefield effects like Terror of the Peaks and Warstorm Surge. The more cards we do have in exile or in our graveyard that are Slime Against Humanity or other oozes, we could take advantage of these, so when we do cast our next Slime Against Humanity, we could deal an exponential amount of damage to our opponents or our opponent's creatures. Another notable damage enabler I did want to highlight is All Will Be One. This is excellent because whenever you put one or more counters on a permanent or player, All Will Be One deals that much damage to target opponent, creature an opponent controls, or planeswalker an opponent controls. So with all those oozes entering the battlefield, they will enter the battlefield with an amount of counters depending on how much cards you have in exile or in your graveyard that are cards against humanity, Slime Against Humanity, and also oozes in your graveyard or in exile. So if you have this on the battlefield and you cast Slime Against Humanity, and let's just say for example you have 10 total cards in exile or in your graveyard named Slime Against Humanity or oozes, you can deal 12 damage to basically any target that you choose. So yeah, who knew All Will Be One will be a great card in the deck. However, that's going to do it for me, guys. Thank you guys so much for coming by and watching this deck tech video on Slime Against Humanity. I chose Zeatora mainly because you have the synergy of flinging your Slime Against Humanity cards, putting them in the graveyard, then later on making 3 treasures so that you could recast another Slime Against Humanity from your hand. But you could really choose any kind of commander that synergizes with Slime Against Humanity. This is just one example that you could take away. But let me know down below in the comments, what kind of commander do you plan on playing with Slime Against Humanity? I'd love to hear your thoughts. This will probably be one of my last videos for Murders at Karlov Manor as far as the deck tech goes. And overall, it was an okay set. It wasn't my personal favorite. I do like exploring new sets, so that's why I'm pretty excited to see Outlaws of Thunder Junction. So we will see what happens in that set. I am pretty excited for it, mainly because I live in Arizona, and I live about 15 to 20 minutes away from a ghost town over there. So we will see how Outlaws of Thunder Junction unfolds. However, going back to Murders at Karlov Manor, I do feel like it would have been a better setting for New Capenna because all the angels returned there and they're restoring law and order, and so they need detectives to kind of figure out all the crime there. I feel like that could have been a good storyline, but I understand why they went with Ravnica because of the city feel. Regardless of that, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to the channel, and with that out of the way, thank you for stomping by.